The top question I received this week from a potential client: where did my clicks go? My phone used to ring, I used to have a lot of traffic, and now what happened? Hi, I'm Laura with Activation, and here this week on Harvesting Growth, Brad and I are going to kind of unpack what is happening to your traffic. I know we've touched on this lightly in the past, but now people are seeing the difference. So, hi, Brad, how are you doing?
Doing great, Laura. Always a pleasure to see you. Hang out.
Same. And I know that you're also getting some questions about this, but basically, a potential client contacted me, and of course, I'm not familiar with them. So I was doing my due diligence of asking them some questions to learn more about their situation, to find out more. And their big point was, hey, I've had this website, it was very successful, but recently, phone's not ringing. So they were leaning into, okay, maybe we need to go to a different agency. I appreciated them reaching out, but upon talking to them, I found out they just haven't done anything with their digital footprint nor their website for several years. Now, in the past, because it was a strong built, very well built website, great. But now, with AI technology, it's seen as stagnant and just not useful information because it's not looking to be relevant or current. And so therefore, it's time to go back and look at everybody's website. So on this episode, we definitely want to highlight why it's important to revisit your website, revisit what's on there, and is it offering solutions for the problems that your growers are calling and asking you about. Because now, as Google has changed their search, you may not realize how many growers are using AI and not scrolling down. Would you say that's what you're seeing too?
That's exactly right. It's evolving fast, and I've said it for years, even before AI. You don't want to have a stagnant website. You want to have a dynamic website with new information, new data that's going to help your viewers.
Yes. And I think even just, it used to be that, okay, take a time once a year or quarterly or whatever it might have been on the proper time frame for small business owners to squeeze it in their busy schedules to kind of review, make sure your current services, your current products, your current team are all up to date. But now we want to look how that information is displayed. I know the past few episodes we talked about making sure things are authentic, because if it is just the same product information that you would see at every single ag dealership or precision ag dealership, it's not going to separate you. So it's one thing to have it there with a strong foundation. Now you can take it that much further to make sure it's your information and that you're answering. So when we look at, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to just a quick example. We had some water running in the area last week. Basically what I'm saying, there was some flooding, and all of a sudden we had corn stalks coming from all directions. So if you would search for what rake would work for raking these stalks in the field, you'll start to see the AI overview. As we have mentioned, this is what you want to make sure you're answering. So if you offer the best rakes to take care of, you might want to be answering a question about if you're looking to rake tough, high yield corn stalks, you might need what we offer. So as a company offering ag equipment, you definitely want to take the time to see what people are asking and then have those solutions, those answers on your website. So again, you can see how much you get to scroll down. We have what we talked about in the past, how it's pulling YouTube, websites, different things over here to the side. And Brad, you're able to see my screen okay?
Looks good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So as we're able to look down, and like I said, I just clicked the show all, so you're able to scroll a little bit more. If you come down a little bit further, now you get into videos. Again, another important thing to be considering. And with our phones, videos are so much easier to do. And as I say, you can record, delete, record again, delete, record again, or just publish, because there's something about messing up or stuttering or trying to figure out what your words are because it's authentic, and growers really lean into going, wow, that's not over practiced. It is actually what's happening right there, right now. So then as we scroll down, now you kind of get into the traditional information that we were very much used to in the past. But the reason I wanted to share this is because, again, having that conversation with that particular potential client, they didn't know where to start because they were like, it is a solid website. It had a lot of SEO already built in. The bad thing is they had not been considering AEO or the GEO. So, what AI is now, how they changed the game. And so, it does excite small business owners to think, wow, it's just not product specs that I'm providing over and over again. Now I have the opportunity to showcase my expertise or my team's level of expertise. And I'll go back to ask your team. There are some video stars among small business owners. And if you ask them to walk through what they're doing, especially as planters are coming in or the hay equipment's going out and getting prepared, have your team walk through what they should be looking for, what needs to be greased, what needs to be repaired, why would you repair that, when should you repair that. They will feel very comfortable and confident behind or in front of the camera, and you can stay behind it if you prefer. Now, I would encourage, again, you can record and delete as much as you want to practice, and then once you get that comfort level, get to it. You can easily start your YouTube channel or add those shorts, add those reels to the social media platforms that your growers are watching. So consider too, you've got some different generations there. You've got ones that will go deep that will still need that product information. But if you're able to put case studies about, hey, you're able to take care of all of the corn stalks that you might need to rake up and use for feed, use for another purpose, great. Or you have the younger generation that are looking just to have some reels to watch, and then they want to go and talk to the other generations that they farm with to say, this is the next thing we're going to add to our operation. This can make a difference with how we handle corn stalks. This is how we handle planting our corn. So you got these great conversations that it's not just the same story that anybody else can tell. So I think that that is, what we are very much working with our customers with, very much recommending to anybody, the small business owners in agriculture, because there's a lot of cool things that we can talk about. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and I think you hit on a key word there that's very important, and that's story. Make it a story, make it human, make it fun, make it real life of something that where you helped somebody or you solved a problem or somebody came to you and had some information that helped you.
Very true. Very true. And I'm glad that you highlighted story because sometimes that's the easiest to go ahead and mention the mud, mention the dry weather, mention the environment, what you are seeing around your location. Because again, as you weave those stories in, I understand some people say that they don't have a way to directly update their websites. I would say reach out to whoever's built it. A lot of times they can give you admin access, or of course, they're there to go ahead and publish that. If you're still having issues, feel free to reach out. We'll help you. But if it's something that you are like, I want to stay where I'm at, great. Consider putting it up social media or YouTube. You have some really quick options to get your information out online in a timely manner without having to submit it and rely on somebody else. Again, that partnership is very important. So we understand that. But know that nowadays it's much, much easier for you to put your own photos up, your own videos up, get the editing done. I mean, you can do a lot of cool things, can't you, Brad?
It's amazing. You and I have been in the industry a long time, and what used to take us hours or days now takes minutes,
Yes.
for different content things that you can do.
Well, I think that leads me into my next topic regarding, just how this all flows together is, okay, what AI can I use to get content ideas? Because yes, you can open up ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and actually state, we're having a really severe drought around here. What content would be helpful to soybean growers or corn growers? Or, how can I put an optimistic spin on hay when we're going through a lot of wet weather? You can use AI for that. And then when you go a step further, you can ask it to help you create those posts, create a video script, create just some talking points if you and when you are going to do your videos. So consider that. What we would recommend is definitely selecting reputable AI tools. There's a lot of different ones out there that may or may not have the security levels that you want. So I would recommend to definitely stay with the ones that are commonly used. There's some that are popping up that sound very intriguing, but proceed with caution. Make sure that you know who's behind them. And I only say that because sometimes it's got just an AI wrapper on it, and you find that you're paying a hefty monthly fee to get, basically, if you could go to Gemini and pay the monthly fee, or it might would be included with your workspace, but or you're going to ChatGPT with a $20 Claude, 20, 100, you get different price points. But make sure, are you paying for a wrapper? And if you are, sometimes that's great because if it's industry specific, it can get you so much closer to what you want when you need it. But if it's not anything more than a fancy name on ChatGPT, ask what you are paying for. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, sometimes looks can be deceiving, or it might look really fancy and shiny on the outside, and like, well, okay, I guess I could pay $300 a month. But then in reality, it's really not what you would hope for, and you probably could have done a lot of it on your own, or had somebody help you build it in house and not have that big fee.
That's very, very true. I'm glad that you mentioned, because yes, you can build some stuff in house, you can make it your own. And you want to make sure you review the security sessions. This is a topic that we will continuously come back to, because even when I opened up Perplexity, another, hey, review this. But if not, find where your icon for settings are, click it and go through it, because they're always updating it. If there's information that you want the World Wide Web and AI to be using for training, there's selections on that. If you don't, make sure you toggle it where you do not want any of your information shared with AI. But I'll also point out that is one thing that we have heard from clients regarding AI not providing the most accurate information. And we're not saying hallucination here, we're saying just not accurate information. And that's the other reason why we're really strongly encouraging our clients to take the time to review what they have on their website, because AI needs to be fed new and accurate information all the time. So if you found something that's not accurate and it's something that's important to you, especially, we want our voice, we want the voice of agriculture to be accurate out there. So take the time to review the information, put more information out there for when other people are looking, they would find your information and it's accurate. Brad, do you have any tips on making sure that what's out there is accurate?
I think it boils down to common sense. Be sure and look at what it produces. Be sure, and if you don't know how, double check what you may have automated, or like what you said a minute ago, check the settings in the platform to make sure you're not sharing it out to the whole world or for training or whatever the case may be. So I think you pretty much nailed it.
Yes. And with that training point, you would, if it's information that you want to make sure that it's out there because it's accurate. Again, you're the expert. You've been the small business owner that knows how to successfully run your business. If you're talking to your growers about X, Y, or Z, especially area information, if you opt in for training purposes, that can really bring you some additional recognition, be cited a little bit more, because again, you've helped with the training of AI. And so that is also important. But to Brad's point and what I mentioned earlier, if it's sensitive information, make sure your settings are where you feel your settings should be.
Exactly right. I highly recommend it.
So at this point, I think we're going to wrap this episode. Again, take the time. We're ready to do another quarter planning and everything. So as you roll around to, I can't believe we're going to say the third quarter 2026, take the time, open up your website, make sure what's out there is accurate, and ask yourself about this product, what have we used it to solve, what problems, and how can we put a case study, a testimonial, or additional personal information. And that includes photos and videos. So until our next time, we appreciate your comments and for you subscribing. But thank you very much for joining us on Harvesting Growth.